All right, thank you. Yeah, so it's been a busy year. So it's actually 12 months since we listed. So yeah, as I say, anyone in the lithium game, it's been a wild journey, and which I'll talk about in the presentation. So where have we got to? You know, we're talking about building a vertically integrated lithium business in Canada, Ontario. But how do you do that? That's a massive order. So I'm going to take you through the process of how we're going to do that. So we're defining the resources. So we've got several assets up there in Canada. It's not as if we're grassroots exploration. These are all pegmatites. They're all bearing spodumene, and we're building those resources. We've got the drill rigs up there now. We're going to partner. So with the partners, we're not really looking for an offtake as such. We're looking for people that are going to join us, because going into a lithium hydroxide, that's a big ticket item. Right, and there's a lot of capex involved, so there's got to be businesses that are going to come with us and get involved in that project, but they've got to have the experience as well. So we'll start talking about partners and unlocking the value chain. You know, we could produce a spodumene concentrate and send that out to the market, but the real value is taking that down to a hydroxide. So where's the company sit? You know, we're sitting around that 200 mil on the market cap. Now, 80 cents on the share price. Bottom left, share registry. So the 66%, that's really with the major funds. You know, they've gone long on us, which is great, so you don't really see the big movements in the share price. And on the right-hand side, you know, we've got major partners now. So Primero, so they build lithium processing plants all around the world. AMCI, they take projects from exploration all the way into production. And then Lithium Americas Corp, one of the biggest lithium companies in the world, which we'll talk about shortly. And then just up there on the top right, sorry, top left for you, where the projects are, so Ontario. So they all sit around a hub, and that hub is Thunder Bay. So if you imagine you're flying to Thunder Bay, it's a big airport, there's hotels, McDonald's, universities, 200,000 people, there's a workforce, and that's where we've got our hub right now. We've got offices there. It's just really me in Australia now as the CEO, but the whole operation team sits in Thunder Bay and the operations on site. We always need a good team. So right there on the chair, John Young. So he co-founded Pilbara Minerals. So really he's got that exploration to mine development experience, and it's really great having John on board. We've got a really good repertoire going there. Cameron Henry, founder of Primero. They build lithium processing plants. So right there, we've already got the processing side in-house. Pat Murphy, MD of AMCI, as I say, deep pockets, and they're looking to fund us into production. And then Rob Longley. Yeah, I've worked with Rob for years now, a highly experienced geologist, so it's great having Rob on board as well. Myself, I started life as a geo, you know, kicking rocks in WA, worked my way up the ranks, became a mine manager in the end on various lithium projects and gold projects. Matt Herbert, he's over there in Thunder Bay. He's running the whole operations, you know, ex-Rio, FMG, so he understands what it takes to get this thing into operation. Right, so there we go. You know, how are we going to do this? We need a resource base. So we're already at 10 million tonnes. We've got numerous rigs on numerous sites. We're building that resource base pretty quickly. We've got 41,000 hectares of ground. There was a bit of a land grab up there because when we arrived in December, there was whole swathes of greenstone belts available. If that was WA, nothing would have been available. So we went in, did our due diligence, and we picked up all the prime lithium real estate. So, quick snapshot about Primero, you know, having that team. So this is an in-house team which will build our lithium processing capabilities. So they've already done the designs for the concentrator and the converter. We speak with them on a daily basis. They're in-house now, and they own 6.5% of the business. Lithium Americas Corp, you know, they got one of the biggest deposits in America. They hold 5.2%, and we've got a collaboration agreement with them. So what that means, we're going to spread our wings across America, start looking at other assets, but that's for the long-term supply chain. What we're doing, we're developing our own assets to bring in the near term, so that's the 10 to 15 year mark, and then anything after that is what we're pushing through. AMCI, once again, 10% of the business. So yeah, they're a major backer. So as I say, anniversary 12 months, like we've been going like a rocket. So we listed in November, we raised 24 mil. I sent a whole team over to Canada. We went straight up there and started drilling. We got the permits in place within a couple of weeks. That's unheard of. We started hitting the resource. We hit 40 metres of high grade, which was absolutely great, and the share price went for a run. We expanded the team there, so now we've got offices in Thunder Bay. We then started construction of a 30-man camp at our flagship. We kicked off all the baseline permits. We knew this is going to be a mine, so we started the baselining early and all the permitting. We then, as I say, we expanded our land holding, so we went from 10,000 hectares to 40,000 hectares, and that was working with a geological survey over there. We've kicked off the scoping study with Primero and our downstream partners. Because we liked what we saw in the market and what we were drilling, we quickly went to 80% ownership. On the back of that, I was on a bit of a trip with the family in Sydney, and then the board got wind of it, and they said, right, you need to do a roadshow. So it didn't really turn into much of a holiday. Did a roadshow, and we raised 55 million. You know, the lithium market's hot at the moment. So with the 55 million, we picked up the cornerstone investor, which is Lithium Americas Corp. We continued drilling. We sent all of our samples off for met test work, so they're in the lab now, so that'll go to a concentrate and into hydroxide. Previously, the previous owner, Arden, they've already done the test work. They've already taken an SC6 concentrate and converted that to a carbonate. So we're just repeating the work, but we're going to do it through GT1. We doubled the resource at Seymour, so we went from 4.8 to 10 million tonnes. We just kicked off drilling at our second major project, which is Root. So we've also built an all-weather camp. Now, the reason for that is what you do, you get the drill rigs up there, you build a camp. It's like a space centre, so it just means they can drill all year round, so we won't stop. So we've got 2 rigs at Seymour, 2 rigs at Root. And they're pumping out the meters, and we're already hitting the pegmatites. So what's coming up? You know, all the exploration results, like everyone, there's a bit of a backlog with assays, but the exploration results will be coming out for Seymour and Root. We've actually just lodged our project description. So in West Australian terms, that's us applying for our mining permit. So what we did, we knew this was going to be a mine, so we built a team in Canada. We pulled together all of the people that have taken the last 8 mines into operation in Ontario. We formed a team, and they're doing the permits right now. We'll be delivering more resource updates for Seymour and a maiden resource for Root. And then the scoping study will come out early in the year. And obviously the met test work. So it's going to be scalable. We're going to kick off Seymour first. That will go into a concentrate on site and then down to a lithium hydroxide. And then as we bring the other up, so in the first column A, we started drilling at Root, and then we're starting to move on to all the other projects that we have in our portfolio. Over there at Seymour flagship, so we're having great success right now. So there's been a lot of groundwork. So we did all the aerial geophysics, aerial photogrammetry. We then got onto the ground. We started doing all of the mapping. We did ground geophysics. And then we built our exploration model. One of the issues we were facing that some of the areas are covered in glacial till, just half a metre. So what we did with the exploration model, we started to hit these breaks in the magnetic highs. And what we're finding is pegmatites. That picture with the drone, that's what it looked like. And we thought there was a pegmatite underneath. So we got the diggers and dozers in. We've got a whole fleet up there. And we pulled it back, and there we go. There's the pegmatites, spodumene bearing. So we're having great success at Seymour. As I say, there's 2 complexes up there, the Albury complex and the Pi complex, and we're hitting both of them. Now, having mined pegmatites before for spodumene, what you need is a big fat ore body, and that's exactly what we got at Albury. And it's high grade as well. So that's going to be the first feed into the concentrator. As I say, at Root, the second project, there's the camp, all-weather camp. That will take us all the way through, and we've got processing facilities on site as well. Good thing about Root is heavily underexplored. It was explored in 1950. It was rated one of the best projects in Ontario. We've picked it up. We've already started to hit the drill rigs on Macomb. The drill rigs that then go over to Morrison. Known LCT pegmatite, stacked systems. We've had the geos swarming over it, so we've got 3 exploration crews up there. They've gone over to Root Bay. I've got a little WhatsApp chat on my phone. And I said, every time you hit a peg, send me a message. So my phone's been going ping, 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 ping. So this is good news for Root. Infrastructure. So we're in the, I'll call it a corridor. As you move north, infrastructure becomes less. As you move south, you get more infrastructure. We're in that infrastructure corridor, so all of our sites have all-weather roads. We have airports, fuel facilities, hospitals, so we're fully manned up for when we need to go into production. Seymour has got the Trans-Canadian Rail Line, goes through the southern end of our tenement. Root has the Wate Power Line, that goes through our tenement. So in terms of infrastructure, you know, we don't have massive infrastructure costs that some of these northern projects will have to face. We can't wait for those guys to get into production, but someone's got to get into production first, and that's what GT1 is about, first production. The reason why, the Americans just released the Inflation Reduction Act. That's put a fire under North America. What they're saying is half of the batteries need to come from domestic supply. Domestic supply includes Canada. We've been working in the US as well. There is a few issues of trying to get operations up and running there, that the permitting process takes a little bit longer, hence why we're looking to Canada. As soon as you move north of the border, the first people you hit are GT1. So we're in a prime position. It takes you half an hour drive to get from Thunder Bay to Minnesota, so that's how close we are. So here's the snapshot. This is where we're getting to. So drilling won't stop. As I say, we've got the projects up there at Seymour and Root. Resource updates every 6 months. Baseline and permitting's already kicked off. So essentially when we took the projects over, there was already 1 year of baseline done by Arden. We went to the mines department. We said, look, can we take that year into the bag and own it? And they said, yes, definitely. So we're in year 2. We've got 1 more year to go. And as I say, permitting's already kicked off. We've pretty much done the scoping study in Canada. You call it a preliminary economic assessment. All the work we're doing now is actually for feasibility. There's not like 2 studies you do. This just rolls through into a feasibility study. Big ticket items, first spodumene production. So you can see 2025, first hydroxide 2027. This is what it looks like. This is like a plan on a page. Made in Ontario. So when I've just got back from Canada, I landed, I said, right, Luke, you got an appointment with the Ministry of Mines and the Mine Minister. I was like, oh, here we go. He said, right, when are you getting into production? Their remit is to get a fully lithium supply chain in Canada. He's asked me, what do I need? I said, I needed permits. Right, let's talk. I need funding. Okay, the government has the ability to stump up a significant amount of capex for that lithium hydroxide plant. Also in Ontario, there's various downstream players that you've got the OEMs and the battery manufacturers and the chemical manufacturers are building their plants there right now, and they're looking for feed. There is currently no feed available in the area, so that's where GT1 comes in. So yeah, that's a snapshot. I mean, we're moving very fast. There's a lot going on. I almost feel like I'm on top of that wave and we're just steaming in. But yeah, watch this space. It's become very interesting. Thank you.
She's raising $50 million.